Hello friends, Lee here from TableTop Bong. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I thought we could hang out, have a fun sesh, and I'll tell you my top 5 reasons for loving legal weed with such a passion. Of course, I'm only going to speak about legal weed because, hey, I'm on YouTube and that's the thing that makes sense. So we could just take for granted from here on out in this video that I'm speaking of legal weed, okay? So let's jump right in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk the first 4 things that I'm going to talk about are just in kind of a random order. I don't even know how I could prioritize the first 4, but the number 1 reason why I love weed so passionately was very, very clear to me. So I'll share that, of course, last. So let's start with the medicinal properties to marijuana. Holy smokes, the things that have been done medically with marijuana, and let's face it, we are really just at the very beginning of what is possible. I mean, legalization is very, very new, less than a decade pretty much anywhere. In Canada, just over half of a decade, and I really believe that with legalization in any market, it's going to take at least a decade for things to kind of start to get sort of balanced out. But at this point, I mean, let's really think about this. We don't even understand what's possible with the plant from a medical perspective. But I know we've all heard, the beautiful stories of how CBD and THC in certain formulas have helped, children with seizures and all kinds of things. It's unbelievable what is possible. And I think just the potential of discovering what's possible from a medicinal standpoint is, what a beautiful, beautiful thing. It is helping so many people in so many ways feel better in their life from a medicinal standpoint. Okay, so we should probably have a little bit of medicine, shouldn't we? I'm going to use my Ace from Vaping, and I'm going to use the glass bowl today with the wireless heater here. I'm going to just kind of drop in maybe around 0.12, maybe 1.5 of a gram and just kind of do long one and done rips. I'm going to use my TableTop Bong in Purple Heart today, and I have the limited edition diffused barrel stem option in the bong today. So let's go ahead and we'll just rip this. Cheers. Oh, so smooth. I'm vaping Jack Herer today. Such a delicious strain. Coming in somewhere around 24-25% THC. Whoop. It's really nice. Okay, so let's talk about now another amazing thing that I'm super passionate about is the ability to adjust your own vibration through the use of weed. I mean, think about that, right? If you have an edible, you'll get a certain buzz. If you have an indica edible, you'll get a certain buzz. A sativa edible, a certain buzz. If you're smoking, vaping, all these things, you have this unlimited, almost seems like unlimited potential of different ways of consuming, smoking, vaping, however you want to look at it. There's all these different ways to get it into you. But at the end of the day, when you're doing that, you're selecting a certain thing to create a certain vibration in your own body, a certain mood, a certain feeling, right? A certain, let's say, lightness, or sometimes it's heaviness. Whatever it is you choose, you're picking your vibration and then you're adjusting it with weed. I mean, let's face it, how unbelievably cool is it that we can do that we can select this plant and a way of getting it into our body, and it will change how we feel. this is unbelievable. And when it changes how you feel, it actually changes it in a positive way, not in a less than positive way. Like, it's just mind-blowing to me that this is even possible from the plant. And once you get really good at it, you can adjust your vibration, your mood to be basically anything you want almost instantly, right? Within 5 minutes or so, you could be in a whole different vibe, which is really, really cool. I think that's, see, how do you prioritize these things, right? This is out of those two, how do you even begin to prioritize there? And then I'm going to complicate things even further here with the next thing, which is the community. Like, think about this for a minute. The community that is formed because of weed, because of this plant, because of sharing this commonality. So what ends up happening in this community of like-minded people, which happens to be an awful lot of people. Let's face it, this is no longer a fringe type of thing. You can, see a perfect stranger enjoying some weed and not know them and share a look and a smile and a little bit of love vibration, and you don't know that person from a hole in the wall, right? But you both vibe on that thing at the same time and you share this thing. There's this love vibe that gets formed in the community that it's really a moving thing when you think about it. And the number of gestures and things that come out of these, this vibe of love. I'll share a little story with you real quick about this because it was something that really struck me. I was traveling at one point a while ago when it wasn't necessarily quite as easy to put your hands on some quality bud. And I was traveling and I had been through a little bit of a dry spell. So when I was traveling, I was walking down the street and somebody just happened to say something to me, which I made a joke back and forth with them. And they had made a joke to me somehow about weed. Like, it was just kind of this random thing. And I hadn't had weed in a number of days. And I was pretty, happy to joke about it with some stranger, whatever, right? It's that whole vibe of love in the community. And I mean, we just kind of, I guess, recognized each other as weed people. And he made a joke to me and I said, oh yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I haven't had any in like 10 days, bro. Like, come on, don't be teasing me. And he's like, oh, I can take care of you. Come on. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh, don't worry, come on. So we went for a little walk and he introduced me to another person he knew and they were like, oh, you're traveling. And we just kind of were chit-chatting a little bit and they said, oh, you're traveling. Okay, well, here's some really wonderful weed and you should have this while you're, traveling here in British Columbia. And it was just this whole beautiful scene with perfect strangers and sharing, that love vibration, that whole thing in the community, right? It was a really, really cool thing. And it turned out that was some of the best weed I had ever had in my entire life. And when it was given to me, which this was what was special about it, I suppose, because of course, in British Columbia, at any point in time, weed wasn't all that hard to get, but I wasn't, I was traveling in British Columbia at the time. I was given a warning that, hey, dude, be real careful with this stuff because this will just totally smack you. Like if just be careful. I was like, dude, it'll be all right, man. I'm probably not brand new to the scene. And it sat me right on my butt and I giggled and giggled for about an hour and a half after that. And where'd this come from? Just a joke on the street with a perfect random stranger who were just sharing this community love vibe together, and he totally hooked me up after I haven't had anything in 10 days, and that's probably the longest I had gone in a really, really, really long time. So you could imagine, how wonderful it was to laugh and joke with somebody, and then all of a sudden they're giving you some of the best chronic you've ever had in your life, right? Like this love vibe thing. It's a real thing. Okay, so then there's the lifestyle, which is a little bit different than the community, right? Because the lifestyle, you can live all on your own. I think the lifestyle includes things like the devices. There's a real hobby in the lifestyle, right? Whether if it's the foreplay of rolling a nice joint and getting it perfect before you go and smoke that joint, or packing your vaporizer a certain way, or you're getting your gear out, even cleaning the bong. Like there's all these things that go in the lifestyle, and then there's the whole culture of it, right? Like you think about like weed related items and stuff like that when you're really into it, right? Like if I would rather buy a hemp t-shirt than some other man-made material, let's say, because why? I feel a little bit more bonded to the idea of hemp, right? Like just these things, they kind of work all through your life. And it may not even include anyone else at all, but you can have this full hobby and lifestyle and culture within yourself and the plant. And it can be a very personal thing, right? Like you can have all of this and not have a weed community of people that you interact with or that you're really involved in. Maybe you're not going down that road, right? You're really like a very solitary kind of person and you want to just do your thing, and you can have this whole lifestyle that is so fun and entertaining. I suppose we should hit another bowl, I think, too, should we not? And I love that about this, about the whole thing, right? Like it consumes so many of my thoughts on so many levels. And I know that I'm not the only person who feels like this out there. I mean, there's a growing community just within the TableTop Bong community. I mean, there's a lot of like-minded people who all feel this same kind of stuff, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that leads us to the number one reason why I love weed with the absolute passion I do. Let's rip this and then talk about that. Cheers. Oh, yeah. Man, the Ace is fun. It's a nice wireless ball vape. I love having everything all in one station like this. It rocks. All right, number one reason. This probably couldn't be more simple. Weed makes people really, really happy. There's not that many things in the world that make this many people this happy. And when I observe and see how many people are affected in such positive ways personally, there's judgment from others in any category of life. But I mean, I think if we all examine ourselves, maybe we shouldn't judge others and we should just enjoy our lives and be happy. It just seems to make the most sense, right? But what this does, all these things combined, they just make people really, really happy. And it's really hard for me to not get swept up in that vibration of joy. I really take in a lot of vibration from, from things around me, and, my thoughts, from, let's say, the Tabletop Bong community, and the comments and all the things that we're doing in this whole thing that is growing, right? I get so much joy out of this. It's unbelievable. And I hope that there's a lot of people out there that got this kind of joy out of it too, because I do believe there is, because I know there's so many people out there that are just so freaking happy that that weed exists. I couldn't possibly imagine actually what life would be without it. And I know that sounds crazy, right? But it does. It works into so much of your lifestyle, and thoughts. It's really cool when you kind of sit back and examine it for a minute and say, what is it that I do love about this so much? Like, why does this feel like it just lives in my soul? But when you think about all the positive energy that comes from this beautiful plant, supplied from the earth, from Mother Nature for us, when you consider how unbelievably it does all of these things in our society today. Wow. It's pretty hard not to love the heck out of this thing, isn't it? Oh, for sure it is. Yeah. So that's what it all comes down to. It really is about the happiness, joy, and the sharing of love. And, a cool observation about this, there's not that many places in life where people are quick and happy to share love with people they don't know, or people that just don't love them yet. Right? Like, if you don't know somebody, they don't love you yet. But if you share love with them because you have this vibe going on, this shared vibration, right? And that's what the glance and the acknowledgement, when you see somebody puffing one, kind of trying to be incognito or something, or you smell it and you're like, oh, that smells great, as you walk by, and there's this shared special thing, and you send them this little burst of love. You're sending love to somebody that you don't even know, that doesn't love you. You're sharing love in this place where, honestly, I think this is the most important place we can share love, is with people who we don't know, and people who don't love us yet. If you share love there, that's a really powerful, powerful thing. So weed has a tendency to create this space where we share so much love and joy. And I think that's why it makes so many people so happy. So that is definitely my number one reason, because it makes people happy. All right, my friends, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I sure did. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, take care.